I have to hit the record button.
Let's start
That would
over.
help. That's fine. That works perfect because now welcome back to another episode of Networking with Nick down here at the Colony. Hey, red button, it's running, and so is that one. Very
awesome.
important. I am here with Natalie Inbody, one of the owners of Vortex here in Wichita, Kansas. Hello, Natalie. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How about you, Nick?
I am doing great. This week, I got to beat a parking ticket, which was weird.
What happened?
So, Troy Trussell, are you familiar?
Yes.
Shout out to Troy
Yeah.
Trussell. He was episode 7 with Networking with Nick. I had the opportunity to go meet with him
That's awesome.
at his studio and had a great time. I come back to my car and there's a parking ticket on it. And I'm like, what? So hold on, and I'm looking, and it's got the things on the ground, the little markers and stuff like that. So I take a couple of pictures, and I go in, and like where you're supposed to pay the ticket.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I want to contest this. He's like, all right, well, set up court date. I go into the court yesterday morning. Only one dressed appropriately for court, which I found very interesting.
Everybody in shorts or
Sweats. A couple of flip-flops and slides, and I was like, man, that's weird. So I got in front of the judge. I was like, hey, parking ticket. And he was like, all right, you want to contest it? I was like, absolutely. So he has me talk to the prosecutor who's there just to help people along and stuff like that. And she looks at the photos I had printed out, and she's, you kidding me? And so right down the hallway was like the actual prosecutor, and she's like, hold on. Grabs the paper, goes down. They kind of do some lawyer talk a little bit back and forth.
Thanks for wasting my time.
Right? And well, no, she comes back. She's like, we're just going to dismiss this. I was like, yeah, I've never beaten a parking ticket or something like that before. So I was pretty pumped about that. So the week's been great.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Started off, what day was that? Yesterday?
That was yesterday, yeah. So, I mean, I just, small wins like that really kind of give you a little bit of boost throughout the week, especially if you're grinding through it and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So tell me, Vortex, busy season right now, coming into the spring.
This is really the busy season. So we weren't sure what was going to happen. We went to the home show. Sometimes March is kind of depends, and it actually it's turned out to be a good month. So
right on.
We're looking forward to April, of course, and May are usually pretty busy too. So
what was the home show like? I've actually never been to the home show.
It was interesting. It was kind of slow. I would
Really?
say there wasn't as many people there that I thought that there would be, but we still had tons of great conversations, opportunities to just be able to really explain the process of what we do, especially on our air duct cleaning side. And it was great. I loved it. I just don't know if everybody that, was a vendor there was happy with the results. But
So was this the first year you guys have gone as a vendor?
this was the second year, and last year we had no idea. We just kind of were going to try it out. And unfortunately, so it runs Thursday through Sunday, and Sunday we went on vacation, and our tech stayed there, to finish out the week.
Yeah.
And my phone blew up the whole time we were on vacation. So everybody else is skiing, and I'm in here on my computer and answering phones and text messages, and so it was like phenomenal for us.
Yes,
for our
absolutely.
new little business.
It's funny how that happens. You go on vacation, yet you still have to work being the owner.
Yeah.
I don't actually look at vacations anymore. I say I travel, but I'm not on vacation. The phone's always on.
Yep.
You can always call me.
Yeah, and that was before I had Heather, so Heather couldn't help me. I just was stuck in the hotel room.
Oh my Lord! So, what was the first year being a vendor like to the home show? Like going into that, what was the mindset like, and what was that?
Like we just didn't go in with any expectations. We just
That's smart.
thought, kind of whatever happens. We just, we tried different forms of marketing. And thought, well, why not try in-person marketing? Works fantastic. Business-to-business network works great. And so we felt like going to the home show would be just a way to really be seen by the public, and it worked out really well.
Networking, getting your name out, getting
Absolutely.
the recognition that you're trying to pull.
Yeah, and it's funny, we had this great video that we thought we'd put together before and afters. Heather was working with us doing marketing already, and so she helped us put this together, and we couldn't get the video to load when we got there. And so we're like, what are we going to do? So Matt happened to have this just video of just the inside of a ductwork, and we ran this tool through. This is how we clean, and it scrubbed the inside of it, and it's like a quick 30-second video, and we just ran that on loop the whole time, and it's so mesmerizing.
Right, that's what I was
that
just
people
thinking.
just like look and they're like, I mean, even people that are, they don't want to look at you. That's
Right.
the funny thing with, those kind of shows is like they want to be there, but they don't actually want to like engage, right?
What do you think that is? I'm curious.
I feel like sometimes they just feel like they're going to get drawn into something they don't really want or that is going to be more expensive than they thought. And so, that video, just no matter what, it catches people's eyes. Even little kids are standing there and they're like, oh, we need to have our air ducts cleaned.
Oh, my Lord.
But we ran that video and we had a home builder on one side the year before and a guy that was selling pans, right? So he's got the cooking going on, but he's like, I can't believe how many people are stopping and talking to you guys about air duct cleaning. And a lot of it was just that video. So, sometimes mistakes become like,
just lucky opportunities from time to time. Absolutely.
So, we kind of just ran the same video this year and, like maybe there are some people that, had seen us last year, but for the most part, it's just so mesmerizing. It just draws people in. Even we had realtors this year next to us and they were just like, can you turn that off? We can't stop watching
No.
it.
That stays on.
That's right. So
that's amazing. And, that makes a lot of sense as, you look at a lot of the patterns now on social media. If you're just scrolling on either TikTok or Instagram, you'll see these videos where it's like one person doing something and then the other part of the video is like something that you just kind of get stuck on watching. Yeah. Like cutting wood or
somebody cleaning a rug.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, exactly. And that's
it's like a 20-minute video. Like, why can't I stop watching?
There's one of like this guy building dams out in like Indonesia somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just there's nothing to the content besides him just making this dam. And like people will put that with their videos and it makes sense because it stops you. It's like, oh, that's kind of
like,
cool.
What is he going to make?
Yeah, what's he doing?
I think, is it the same guy that will build, just like dig a hole and build like a whole home underground?
Yeah, I think so.
And you're just like, what is he going to do next?
My question is, where did he get like all the camera and how's he got the internet out there to upload these videos? I don't understand. No, I'm just kidding. No, but no, things like that, it works really well. Being in the atmosphere of people walking around, being looky-loos, especially, and you can catch that attention and just have them like bugged to a light.
And for us, it was just, a lot of people have no idea what air duct cleaning costs, or they've seen so many scams. I don't know if you've seen the Facebook scams, which we're so sick of. It's like, everybody's got the mask on, save my business.
Oh, my Lord.
It's like, come on, guys. Like,
so give me the breakdown on Vortex, right? Okay. So we were kind of talking about I believe you guys just opened about 3 years ago?
So 2 years ago, really June will be 2 years when we actually got our name out there, got, Google going. So we were former franchise owners, and we ran an air duct cleaning, carpet cleaning business for 5 years before. And it was a name that a lot of people knew. However, because of some things that happened with that business, it was just really hard for us to grow.
Yeah.
And we had a contract that we just, we didn't know if we could get out of. And it was a 10-year and then a 2-year non-compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we just got to the point where we were done, and we were like, we've done construction in the past. And so we thought maybe we would just go ahead and step away from air duct cleaning for a couple of years, and just try to, just get past that time frame. But we went to them and we talked to them and we're like, you guys can't do enough marketing. We definitely can't do enough marketing in our area to surpass the name. And because of that, they let us out of the contract, thankfully. And so that's when Vortex was born.
Hey.
And of course, when Vortex was born, we're just like, we've already been doing construction for 15 years. And then my husband had done restoration in the past as well. And we had been able to add a team member that had over 20 years experience in restoration too. Yes. And so it just was a good mesh. And some people are like, well, why don't you just stay in your lane, Natalie? Like,
no,
right?
No.
Why do air duct cleaning and restoration and remodeling? But really, if you think about it, they kind of all go together.
Absolutely.
So if you have a disaster happen in your home, and you have to come in and tear all your sheetrock out, tear your carpet, basically you're just kind of left with a disaster, right? Like, it's a clean disaster, but it's still something that all of a sudden you have to find another contractor you weren't planning on, and it can just be a huge headache for a homeowner that's already really busy. And so being able to offer all of those services in one business is really just I feel like it's pretty amazing, and we're really excited to just be able to help people out, to kind of take away the stress.
Yes.
That could come from a disaster.
I've had to have some restoration work done before, having a sub pump flood or something like that. Yeah. And, it is a pain. It's not fun to deal with. No one wants to deal with it or do it. And, I've even actually done the work myself as I used to work for an environmental company. Okay. One of the things we did was mold remediation.
Okay.
So we would cut out all the drywall and do all of that stuff, and just the particulates that would get everywhere. So we would have air scrubbers and stuff like that, and we tried to set up a containment, but still, you can do really well and try to keep it sealed, but it still gets places. That dust is very fine. Yeah. So, you breathe those spores in. That's not good for you. So doing the air duct cleaning makes a lot of sense afterwards.
Absolutely. Like doing that as last thing, get the construction rebuild back and then do the air duct cleaning. So just being able to offer all of those in one business model, it's helpful to the customer, and we can work with the insurance so they don't have to do all that too, because that can be a nightmare in itself. We've had some people just... They have, we've done the work, but for them to just have to take the check from the insurance to the mortgage company and get them to sign it, yes. I mean, when you already have a busy lifestyle, it's really difficult. So we can kind of alleviate at least the majority of that stress. We can't go to your bank and have them sign your check for you,
As much as we might like to be able to do that. No. So when you guys launched Vortex, after you guys got out of the contract, did you guys start with all of the services, or did you guys kind of stick with one for right now and build?
Sure. So we did. Can I kind of explain?
Go ahead. Go as deep as you want.
What gave us that strength to do it?
I want to hear the whole story.
Talking about in-person marketing, business to business. So we started in a networking group, and my neighbor is the one. We're building a house. We're like towards the end of the house build, and we're doing the build ourselves and working full-time during the day. And my neighbor comes over and he's like, Natalie, there's a position open and you guys need to come and join.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, once a week, and you've got to, all these other things that you have to do within that organization too. And
quick question,
this was about 3 years ago. That was 3 years.
Okay. Was that your first time like networking with other business owners?
It's not that I had done, like the Derby Chamber, or, I've gone to a couple WEBA events, but
nothing with a commitment.
Nothing with a weekly commitment.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So, and I just visited those. I didn't actually I went to Million Cups, but weekly. And so I went to the first meeting, and I was like, okay, I can get it a little bit. Second meeting, and I was like, okay, I'm going to join.
There you go.
And so at first it was really difficult to, just to have that mindset when you're doing so many other things, right? But about a year in, I was like, you know what? We have so much more power online. We got so many Facebook shout outs, just help, because these businesses get to know you personally. They get to know how you interact with their clients, and they feel comfortable referring you. And so it's just really powerful.
Yeah.
And that really helped us to be able to say, you know what, a year in, we could actually do our own name, and we could fairly quickly have success with it. Because we weren't able to keep our name, we couldn't keep any of our
from the franchise
website. We didn't keep any on-site media. We got rid of all of our phone numbers, our
a clean slate,
nothing. We were starting a brand new business essentially, right? And you think that's going to take a while. So we actually bought a flip house. We've flipped houses in the past, lived in them and flipped them, but we'd never actually bought a house and flipped it without living in it.
So you and the husband are actual entrepreneurs. You're out here running businesses, flipping homes. All right.
Building houses.
I
got my GC. Yeah.
Let's go.
So, but we're just going to buy a house and we're just going to see what happens. We were busier that first year than we had been in the last 5 years.
With the franchise and the name?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just changing our name and having the support of that marketing group.
So the power of networking.
The power of networking is amazing.
Wow.
So anybody that's not doing it, that's really how you have to, what you have to do to build your business. So.
Right. All right. So there's a couple things on this I want to ask.
Okay.
We'll stick with the networking first. going into those networking meetings, do you remember like the mindset and how you felt going in as the first time, like after you had kind of joined? Like, was there nervous?
The first because you have to do like a 10-minute presentation.
Right, exactly.
I've been there like maybe 3 or 4 months, and I'm literally like, just the idea of having to hear myself talk for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
with
buddy.
no interjection. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awful. So I made sure that I had a lot of jokes, okay?
Okay.
Because air duct cleaning, there's a lot of jokes that you can, talking about our trucks really suck and that my husband has lots of dirty pictures on his phone.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways we
There's
could
a
go.
lot of
Yes,
things that,
absolutely.
can just, I just needed that feedback from the audience. And so that really helped. And the group that I'm a part of, that's just very, they're a personable group. They're a family group. And, so it was actually pretty easy.
Sometimes you got to get a little closer to be quiet. That's all.
Like, I didn't hear myself.
So,
and now I'm okay with it.
Right? Let me ask you this. So I have a few tips for individuals when they're starting out networking. One, show up early, a little bit earlier than normal, not just your 10, 15 minutes. The reason why is because when you get there early, you usually run into the people who are setting up. Yeah. Those tend to be the leadership, president.
Yeah, and the ones that leave as soon as it's over.
Right?
Yeah.
You give them the ability to get in there early, talk with leadership, and they'll tell you who you need to talk to. So show up a little bit early. It's not middle school. If you're new, don't stand on the sidelines. Go up and talk to somebody. Absolutely. Come together. Yeah. And then
participate.
Yes. Participate. And then brush your damn teeth and smile.
That's right.
Those are my 3 tips. So if you could give somebody 3 tips who's new to networking, what would you give them?
Oh, great. I'm going to be put on the spot. I don't know. Yeah, definitely don't just go to the people you know.
Yeah.
Go and talk to maybe a person that is in the corner that maybe isn't as comfortable with networking. Right. Like, make those connections and don't just make it a one-time thing, right? Like, you talk with somebody and then you never talk with them again. Like, make sure that you get their number, their information, and just understand how you can do business together. That's the whole point of being there. So if you're so nervous about just the whole process, you kind of miss the whole purpose of it. Yeah. So, and then don't bring business cards. I don't know.
So that's funny you say bring business cards. Being in the technology space.
Yeah, so are you just here?
Because I have a whole I have thousands of cards over the years of networking, and they do become a bit of a waste. Yeah. I do think that they are a waste. I understand their purpose, and I get it. Yeah. I do truly get it. But at the same time, like, if I can just give you my contact, if we can just like touch phones,
I agree with that. So at the home show, there was a company. I was like, hey, what do you guys do? How can we work together? Do you guys have any business cards? Oh no, they're like 10 cents a piece.
What?
It's like, okay, and how can I get a hold of you? I was just like so awkward though, don't be weird about it. Like, here's my phone call, do something, not just, 10 cents a piece. Like, that's too
have
expensive.
a QR code people can scan that you can pay it once and then, you have it. That's a great
just
way.
Just some way. Something. To be able to contact. So, because Heather and I have been working on just taking all of those business cards and actually putting them into a platform so that we can have a reference for them. So, if I didn't have your card, I wouldn't be able to put you in there though, So some of us are old school.
And it's I think as we kind of move, seeing what technology is doing with VR headsets, I'm a big fan of what Apple's doing. I think that's amazing for productivity. Like, in the future, it's going to be like, you don't even need to pull your phone out. You can just like flick your contact info to somebody.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
I can't wait.
Come on now.
I am so ready for Ready Player One. It's not even funny. So
we're getting there.
Yeah, no joke. All right, so this is the other question. You're the first one to have their cell phone go off.
Great.
But it's okay. I've had someone on the very first episode walk past the camera.
Oh.
So it's not as bad as that. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Is it vibrating too?
I think so.
All right.
You want to take it?
I'm just going to throw it on the floor. No.
That's fine. 2 years with Vortex, 5 years or so with the franchise.
Yeah. So
and you and your husband were married the entire time?
Yeah. So Matt and I have been married almost 20 years in September.
See, that's what I'm curious about, because you guys are doing business together.
Oh,
that
has always been our goal. So I used to run a house cleaning business, basically since Matt and I got married.
Okay.
And then Matt worked for a company that did drywall, and that was his skill from the time he was 12. Like, he learned how to do drywall from his dad, and then kind of branched out from there. He started doing some side jobs while he was doing the drywall, working with the drywall company. And one day he just came home and he's like, Natalie, I put in my 2 weeks. And I was like, you did what? Like, I'm pregnant with my second kid, and you just put your 2 weeks in. So we figured that out, but because he decided he was going to go ahead and go out on his own and do remodeling work and kind of handyman stuff. And so the two of us kind of did our own businesses, but we always had a goal of working together.
Really?
But he wanted to do air duct cleaning. And I was just like, because he did that as a teenager. He worked for a restoration company. That's where he had restoration experience.
That makes sense.
The air duct cleaning. And I was just like, air duct cleaning, is that even a thing? Do
Yeah,
people even
never.
pay for that? And it wasn't until we actually worked with the company that so the franchise was running in Wichita for about 15 years before we purchased it.
Okay, so it was an established franchise.
So it was an established one, but it's just, but they didn't really do much to that company that we purchased it from to, market it or,
They didn't really grow it a lot.
They didn't try to grow it.
Okay.
They just had the established customers, and that's about it. And so, yeah.
Well,
so,
maybe y'all got it for cheap, maybe. Yeah.
It wasn't bad,
Okay.
and it came with all the equipment. So, that's part of
you
it,
can
too.
build.
And so Matt worked for the company for a few months just to I was like, you need to just see if this is even worth it, right? And so he starts bringing home all these dirty pictures, right? And showing me, okay, like, there is a need. There's a huge need, more than people know. And a lot of it is just educating people about how it should be done properly, and then that it's something that people do.
It's also not a place someone sees a lot, right? It's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have 2 cats. they shed during this time. It's winter or it's spring. That I see the hair get stuck there, and I grab it, throw it away. But you never think about like where it goes, and it gets all caught into that. So when you don't see the nastiness, it's just you. Like,
but you also have to think, like, how old is this house? Like, how many people have lived here? Like, how many people am I actually living with, even though they don't live here?
Yes.
But all their skin cells and all of that, their hair, their pet's hair, their dog hair, their cat's food, like all that stuff is all in there, and it's still circulating in your air. People go in, they scrub the walls, they paint the walls, they change out the flooring, but they don't think about doing that, and you're like, so gross.
That is nasty. So I've seen it done with like you can either take like a drill and have like a thing knock it all down. I've seen it done with pneumatic, like a pump truck or a suction truck. Yeah. Is there a certain way you guys like to clean it?
We feel the right way.
Okay, what's the right way? Fill me in.
It is to do it with a really powerful truck-mounted vacuum.
Okay,
so that it's designed for air duct cleaning. So essentially we connect that really close to the heater on the trunk lines, and typically we do the return side first. And there's really a process to make sure you're not recontaminating areas you've already cleaned too.
Absolutely.
So, and not all companies even think about that. They just think, oh, I'm going to clean it out, So that vacuum is drawing air into the ducts, and it's creating negative air.
Okay.
So when you create that negative air, you're not going to have dust and debris flying into rooms we're not cleaning, right? So you have that suction going the entire time. And then we take a compressor line with specific tips on it. They almost look like a little octopus.
Okay.
Each one of those tentacles has air coming out of it.
So it's just flailing all around.
So it's kind of scrubbing the inside as you're pushing it down. So it's knocking all that dust and debris down. And then that vacuum is taking it out, right? But our goal isn't just to let the vacuum do that. We actually have to work it back to the vacuum line. So we drop all the dust and debris down into the trunk line, and then you clean out the trunk line, which a lot of companies do not clean out the trunk line.
So those just do the vents, but leave it all in the main. The trunk line's the main,
line,
right?
That main trunk line. Think about it: a tree, the trunk, and then all the branches, right? So are the vents. And so if you don't clean out that main trunk line, it's almost pointless to have your air ducts clean. I'm just going to say it. Like,
because all that stuff is still in there.
It's still in there. What was the point?
to burn money, I guess. If you want to do that, just hand it over.
Yeah, and that's what's really frustrating, and that's why, to me, it's more important to educate people and them to make the right choice. But a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I've seen whole house, this or that. And it's like, okay, well, what are they actually cleaning for that price? They want me to come down a couple $100. It's like, well, if you're paying for half the job to be done, is it worth having done?
Right.
So we actually clean out the return side first, supply side, and then we'll clean out air handler, blower motor, and coils. And we just dust them off. We're not HVAC certified, so we're not pulling it out. But essentially, well, it's not even, it will function better.
Yeah.
Like, you think about all that dust and debris on the coils, right? So those little fins that you can see if you ever looked inside of a heater, and all of those get really dusty, and a lot of people don't think about having their HVAC serviced, which typically your HVAC company would clean that. But if you don't have that serviced, all of that is slowly making your heater less efficient.
Yeah, and then you get to breathe all that funness in.
Yeah.
Because it eventually clogs up the filter, backs up, it makes your heater work harder.
Absolutely burns up your motor and your heater, yes.
And there's a $400 bill you don't want.
No, or
I don't know, I'm just throwing that one out. Yeah. I'm a renter, I don't know nothing, so I don't know.
I don't know, I was just talking to my HVAC guy last night, and he was saying, anywhere from like $800 to like $1,300 at least, so
for things like that, so say if you guys are cleaning out a thing and you notice that something's wrong with the HVAC system or something like that, will you be like, hey, I have someone that you should talk to or have come out and look at that? Have you built out relationships to fill in those services when you see that?
Absolutely. I think that it's important. We really care about our clients. We want the best service that we can offer for them. And we want them to also have other companies that they can work with and feel comfortable with them, that they're not just going to come in and say, oh, well, this all needs to be replaced, right? When they just need a motor replaced on it, or they need a part, So, in any industry, there's going to be companies that try to take advantage of people. And we definitely don't want to be one of those. And we want the clients that we do have to be taken care of well, not just from us, but the companies that we would refer.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, building those relationships with other business owners, what are some things that you're looking for in those trusted partners?
Sure, definitely. That it's not just about making a dollar, right?
Yeah.
It's also about client relations, that you care about them, that you want to do the best job that you possibly can for them, and you know what? We're all imperfect. Like, we've had jobs where we've had to go back on because our guys had a bad day or something. Guess what? Like, we want companies that are actually going to go back and say, hey, you know what? I screwed up.
My bad.
I'm gonna make this right for you, right? So we do that, and we want any partner to be the same, right?
Accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
That's a big deal. In any partner in relationship, accountability.
Absolutely. And that's why in-person networking works so well too, because you get to know these people on a personal basis, and you get to understand their businesses, and that they have the same passion for taking care of people that you do.
So throughout this whole journey of 20 years of marriage, multiple entrepreneurship here, there, there's got to be button heads. I feel like it's not common you see that.
Yeah.
What has that roller coaster been like?
Actually, it's pretty great.
Get out of here. You're just, it's perfect, huh?
I mean, there's been a few times,
right.
But for the most part, Matt has skills that I don't have, and I have skills that he doesn't have. And I think because of that partnership works amazing. And we both have a drive and a passion for getting things done. And, of course, I hate book work, and I've ended up being the one that takes care of it, but it's like, I want it to be done right.
It's important.
And so, I've taken on some of those roles that Matt, he's very technical, right? He likes to tear motors apart and put those back together. And, that boy could have been an electrical engineer. Like, he's amazing. And I think that that's part of it too, is I just respect him so much. And I feel like he's got so much to offer, and he's just, I feel like he's amazing. Like, I love my husband.
That's amazing.
I feel like that he feels the same way about me. And, the house that we built, it was during COVID, and he was so busy, and basically we moved into a 5 acres with a modular on it.
Okay.
And him and the kids were like, you know what? We're happy in a modular. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we didn't move out here. We moved out here with the plan of building a house on this property. And he's like, well, if you want to do it, then go for it. And I was like, right on, right? So, like, I started looking for builders, for banks that we could loan through. And I ended up coming up with this great partnership for it was a builder that also had a banker that would loan on a barn dominium style house, which was really difficult to get financing on. Just it's especially on the build side. On the house side, then they're like, oh, it's a house, I get it, right? But on when you go to a bank and you say, hey, I want to build a barn dominium, like they don't understand what that means, right? So they're like, is this going to even appraise? It's
a big house.
So, yeah.
With some big rooms in it.
Yeah, essentially.
That's it. That's all you need to know. Just say yes.
But they just didn't get it. So finally we found a builder and a banker that they got it, right? And so by the time COVID happened and everything got pushed off, oh my goodness, it was just, we split the land, so that took time. We ended up right in the middle of COVID, like, hey, metal's going to go up. Hey, lumber is going to go up. And my builder, by the time we actually were able to have him start, he couldn't start. I was like, okay, well, right on.
Man.
So you can build your own house once every 2 years. You can be your own GC. At the time, I didn't have a GC license, but you could build your own house.
So you can be just a temporary GC.
Yeah, you can pull your own permits, and I mean,
what was the process of that like?
It wasn't bad, really. I mean, it's a huge learning curve, but it's like, you know what, YouTube University, right?
Yeah, baby, that is it right there. YouTube University.
Yeah,
college isn't needed unless you're gonna be a lawyer, doctor, or something technical. If you need anything, if you need to learn, this is how I've learned all this.
Oh yeah.
Prior to last month, I had no idea how to operate any of these, any of the post productions. I have watched countless hours of YouTube videos.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, YouTube
you don't need anything else,
right? So
and it's free.
It's free. I know. And so I was just like, let's just do it. So we're into the build. I've already purchased my metal building because it was going to go up. My wood because it was going to go up. I mean, wood went up like 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah,
it
was crazy.
And thankfully, I bought about 90% of the wood by the time it went up. So I just tried to pay attention to that. So my banker comes out there and he's like, Natalie, so is Kevin the builder on this anymore? And I was like, nope. And he was like, okay. Like, what's he going to do about it now? So that's how, that was born. And we finished it in 9 months. It was insanity.
Wow.
Finished because interest rates were going to go up too, right?
So you needed to get this done. Hey, let's like finish this really quick. We know what's coming.
Yeah. I feel really bad for my father-in-law because he helped me quite a bit on the framing part.
Right.
Because Matt's running our duck truck. We didn't have another person that was working for us. We're still with this other franchise.
So he's in the business.
So Matt's working the business. I'm still answering phones while we're building a house. But then he'd come home at night and we'd work till, I don't know, 2, 3 in the morning sometimes. But I've had, we have to frame this within 2 or 3 weeks. I think it was 3 weeks. That's all I had budgeted to pay my father-in-law to help me. So I'm pushing him.
Hey, come here.
Oh, I was there building with them. I'm just like, let's go.
Jeez.
We have to get this many walls up before,
I bet he was happy when he was done. He was
all
right, I'm leaving.
I think he just got to the point where he was like, I'm done.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah, she's got too much energy for me.
So how's the house look now? Is it all finished and complete?
Like any house that you build yourself. I was so excited about having a new house, right? Like the first time I've ever had a brand new house. And, I'm going to be able to move into it. It's going to be complete. Yeah. It's like we moved into it with a sink in the kitchen and a toilet and a shower in one of the bathrooms.
It's the things you need, just the common necessities.
Yeah. So, but we finished probably 90% of it. We still had some porches to put on. And later we put a fireplace in about a year later, but that still has plywood, the things, right?
It's almost complete. It's 98%.
But, it's just like anything thing with your own profession, right? You're offering those services to other people. You just don't always have time for yourself. But we got to the point where we could close on a loan, got 2.75% interest. So,
let's go.
Yeah, that's right. I was just like, interest are going up. We're like, we got to get this done.
So would you do that again? Would you build your own home again? Like if you decided that you wanted to go that route, or would you just buy a house?
I would build.
You would build again?
Oh, yeah. Like I got to design every portion of it.
See, that
love
sounds
it.
fun.
Right. I love picking stuff out. I love the whole process of bartering, like trying to figure out like the lowest price you can get on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You like to haggle.
I love to haggle.
You go to the flea market, don't you?
You know what? I don't.
What?
I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know. I should. I don't have time for it.
That's probably true. I mean, you can
but
only
you know
have
what?
so
When
many
you
hours
can
in
go
a
to
day.
Lowe's and be like, hey, we can fix.
You do that at
yeah.
Lowe's?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, you guys probably have
we
like
have,
a contract.
Yeah, we have contractor pricing.
So
at the time, I didn't, but we'd been in there so much that
might as well.
Yeah, Matt had been doing remodeling construction for 13 years or whatever before we started that franchise. So we knew a lot of the people in Lowe's, a lot of the long timers.
Right.
So
I think that's so cool because I don't know about buying a house. That's not something in the cards. I do want to build a castle out of shipping containers.
Okay. Castle out of shipping
Why not?
containers. Okay.
I want a castle.
Is that a thing?
Know.
Have you seen that on, or are you going to
one.
Nick's going to
Make
start
it.
that whole.
I don't know. I know that. So
shipping container houses are awesome.
Those are cool.
They're so cool.
And it's just, so it's just
modern.
designing
They
to
can be
figure
so modern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That, it's going to last. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Steel. So
Tornado.
Right.
Got this.
And I thought that was a really cool idea. And then, I don't know. I just always liked the idea of having a castle. I just a big plot of land.
Is this like, did you do Minecraft? Or?
No, I've always, all right, here's probably where it comes from. I'm a big zombie fan.
Okay.
And every guy on the planet has said, oh, what would I do if there were zombies watching a zombie movie?
Oh my God.
I want a castle. I want a castle, big wall, moat, whole 9 yards.
Oh, there you go. Heather's got it for you.
Yes, that's what I want. Let me see that. That's exactly what I want.
Somebody's already done it.
See? I just have to speak it to existence. Look, they even got a tower. Yes. Look at that.
That's pretty cool.
Send me this picture. I'm going to put it up during the episode. It's just, I don't know. I think it's unique. It's different. I hate the idea of ever moving into an HOA.
Oh, yeah. No. Like them telling you where you can and can't park your cars and how long your grass needs to be.
Paintballs are flying as soon as I see HOA come up the drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd be out
it's
you
not
have
happening.
all kinds of fines. I don't. Yeah, we've never ever lived in an HOA.
I don't know why people strive for that. I don't get it.
They just want uniformity. They want. Yeah, I don't know.
That's boring.
Yeah, I agree.
So you've always been like that. Then you've never liked that. That traditional route, so to speak.
No. So
Where's that stem from?
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like the normalcy. I don't know. It's not that I don't know. Not that I'm not normal. I don't know.
No, I think it's actually good because you have to be a little crazy, a little bit to be an entrepreneur or business owner.
Yeah.
You have to be a little delusional.
Thank you. Call me crazy. A little delusional.
I'm cuckoo for
I
Cocoa
say
Puffs.
dreamer, right? Like you have to just be able to dream it into existence. And some people don't have that ability to dream and to have the ambition to strive to do it.
But you have to still be crazy enough to believe in the dream.
That's true. Okay,
You have to. You have to be a little tilted off your rocker to do this job. I don't care what anyone says.
Heather's like, yes.
Yeah.
No.
And then you need
a little
grit.
ADHD.
Yeah. I'm dyslexic, so I think I'm supposed to be in this position. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but there's always a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs who are dyslexic and ADD. So I got the unfair advantage here. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to use it still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all. But you have to cast a dream / vision that is crazy that other people just don't see.
Yeah.
And it's you.
And for us, we just always felt like, we're having to draw it out for somebody so they can envision it, right? Especially when you don't have the capital to do it yourself.
That's
right?
hard.
Yeah. So, but we've managed to figure it out, and maybe not to the point we wanted to all the time, but But like even with just that build that we did, it just is a very unusual build, right? And we're not going for the farmhouse kind of feel that everybody wanted when
Right.
you know you're looking at a barn dominium. So it's kind of just an unusual. But you come in and you're just like, I get it. This is super cool.
Right?
I have a friend that's like, Natalie, every day do you just wake up and say, man, I can't believe I live here.
That's cool. That's a cool thing to hear from a friend. You know what I mean? Like they don't understand, they don't know, but then once they see the finished product, they're like, "Oh, I get it now.
Yeah,
this is kind of cool."
This is kind of cool. Yeah,
And
it's
then you
like a
get
downtown loft in a barn.
Yeah, it's like, where was this energy at when I was building it?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You know what? I don't worry too much about what other people say or think about that either. You know, it's like you just have to have your vision and just not worry about what people think or you should or shouldn't do, right? You just go for it and, you know, you enjoy it because it's satisfying to you, not because anybody else envisions or gets it. So
That's something I've had to work on over the last couple of years because, you know, you building a house during COVID, I started my entrepreneur journey during COVID. So, you know, like learning those type of skills and those type of that mindset, you know, breaking the traditional mindset, it's difficult. You know, and it takes a long time to get there. And, you know, not caring what others think is a valuable skill.
yeah,
And I'm trying to teach it to my son.
yeah.
He's 10 now. I try to install that into him quite a bit, and he's getting there. You know what I mean? There's still things that when people, like, he's a very nice...
How old is your son?
10.
He's 10.
Yeah. So he's a very nice and sweet kid, though, helpful and that stuff. So, like, when, you know, people are mean, he's like... You know, it does hurt. It stings a little bit. So, to counteract that, I'm a true 90s baby, born in 1990. I have started bullying my kid, picking on him a little bit.
Oh, no. So I have friends that say bullying needs to come back.
Yes. I also think kids need to fight again, too. I truly do. We threw down in
just
high school.
Get it over
school.
with, right?
A lot of people...
Instead of all this, like, social media stuff that they're just
People
so... Yeah.
People forget what it feels like to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And sometimes that just needs to be reminded.
They need it.
And, you know, so like my son, he
Encouraging violence here, right? No.
controlled violence. It's okay.
Controlled violence.
No, so my son, he a couple months ago, he cut his own hair. He cut his bangs for some reason. And it was just straight across. So for like weeks, I'd be like, Riker, come over here. Let me make sure that this picture's level. You know what I mean? Like just stuff like that. But on the back end, though, like, all right, cool. I just hit you with something. Get me back.
Yeah.
That's the trick, being able to do, you know, rubber, your glue, blah, 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 blah. So teaching
rubber, your glue.
Exactly. But teaching him how to like clap back or come back with a comeback and just being able to take it. It's not that big a deal. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun.
That it's not gonna hurt you forever.
No.
Right?
Thicken them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Thick skin. It needs to come back.
So my son is 18, just moved out, and he decided he's going to like grow his hair to his shoulders, have the wolf cut, and dye it black. He's got like brown, light brown hair.
Right.
And he goes and dyes it black. So, you know, he's one of the guys that works for us.
Okay.
Yeah, so Gavin works for us. And we have, you know, 3 other guys that, you know, he's with, and they're just like, Gavin, where are you?
Just giving it to
Oh,
him.
they're giving them because there's that song. So we'll have to pull that up, I guess, and play that song. But they need that. They do. That. Oh, my daughter though, she's awesome. Like she's a pistol. So she's about to turn 16, and when she homeschools now. When COVID started, she started homeschooling, but before that, she was in public schools, and that girl, it was like, if there was somebody that was getting picked on, like, she would go sit with them.
Good.
She was all for the underdog. She'd just stand up and just say, stop picking on this kid, you know?
Yeah,
like,
just being blunt, like, knock it off.
Oh, I know. I don't know where that came from because I was super shy, quiet when I was younger, but I always encouraged her. Like, I didn't try to hold back, you know, her from saying things to people because I felt like I had been so restricted from saying that, and I would just, you know, corporal punishment. I mean, I got spanked, and so I feel like that kind of made it more difficult for me to even just start speaking up for myself. And so I didn't want her to ever feel like she couldn't speak up for herself. And
nip it in the butt before it started.
I'm like, I don't know, like
maybe
I should have spanked that child a little bit.
just a little bit.
But she's a pistol. She's awesome. I love it. So
I have a little sister. She's 6.5 years younger than I. And, I was telling you off air how we kind of grew up a little bit. And me and my friends were just a whole bunch of older brothers to that kid. We wasted her. But now, like, she's a grown woman. She is the strongest that you could possibly ask for. And I mean, it's from years of just, how many people's elbows and rock bottoms I've given that kid, like just from WWE moves all the way to just, her being in middle school and just giving her the business as much as possible. But like, just like with my son, same thing, growing up with it, being able to take it, know it's just a joke and being able to give it back. It's so, so important.
Yeah. And just being able to respond to that instead of it just shutting you down.
Oh,
That's essentially, what you need.
So with you got your son in the business, does the daughter help at all? Is this like a full-on family?
That girl, I love her to death. And she's just her own character. Like, she makes costumes and she'll sell them. Like, she taught herself how to sew through YouTube University. Like,
so do you push like entrepreneurship or ideas to your kids like this, or was this just genetic as well?
I just think seeing your parents do it, and I think even with like we talked a little bit about me growing up. However, I did see my mom and stepdad purchase houses and work really hard on them, to the point where you could make a decent amount of money. Like, obviously you learn the good and bad, and
you were exposed to the work
and so
ethic.
I was exposed to the work ethic and the potential, right? If you made smart decisions. And so I think my son's not as quite right now. Well, he's kind of like, I just want to do a job and I want to go home and just enjoy my life.
He hasn't figured out his life yet.
Yeah, but my daughter, she's already like, I'm doing this. I'm going to put it on Etsy. I'm going to sell it for this. And
I'm so happy to hear that.
Like, what else can I learn? So she's learned how to crochet, and she's making like all these like crazy looking little alien things.
Is she hustling stuff at school?
Oh, so she doesn't go to school, but she's trying to hustle it to her friends.
Yeah, she should be.
And, trying to figure out how to set up an Etsy account so she can start selling this stuff. And she's like, Mom, I just want to learn how to do things. Like, I just want to just have this, plethora of knowledge, of useless knowledge, to some degree. But it's like, right now she's into ice skating. And so she can't stop talking about ice skating. Like, I'm going to take lessons. So she got lessons, and she's like, I need to go on this day. And now I need private lessons. And like,
so does she have like ADD as well? Does she bounce around from these projects? Do you see her like get into something, get really good at it, bounce to the next one? See it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
she's going to be successful at some point in time.
But she's like, I just want to learn how to do it the best I can, as fast as I can.
Wow. Efficient
and she's not
quality.
She's just going to be 16 next month. So,
man.
So I love it. But just, I don't know, just allowing her to have that kind of sense of direction and kind of, to some degree, being able to figure it out on her own, too. So
yes. I think that's very important. I mean,
she's like, I want to grow up and I want to do construction, but it's also seeing her mom do that. Like, that's not typically something that women do, but being able to see, like, you can do anything you put your mind to.
Absolutely.
And not all kids have that, it's like, you got to go to school and I'm not, by any means dogging school, but, not all people learn that way.
No, it didn't do well for me.
I hated school. Like, I feel like I didn't learn anything. Like, I started homeschooling in 9th grade. I didn't even know how to read, really. Like, I just wasn't comfortable reading, in front of people. And I don't know, I missed a lot of school. And so I missed out, I had gaps, I feel like. And so when I went to homeschooling, like, it was self-directed, it was self-driven. And so you didn't miss anything. Right? Yeah. Those 2 years, so I did high school in 2 years. And I learned so much, and I felt like I learned so much about myself too. And it wasn't, because I was quiet and I was kind of awkward, right? Like, it was harder to just be comfortable in your own skin and learning. Yes. So I don't know. I feel like being able to see Sydney at this age and how amazing she is, I just can't imagine what she's going to be like as she gets older.
Kids nowadays, like I've said a few times, growing up pre-internet, what the internet has done to give the advantage to these young individuals. Anyone now, actually.
It can be an advantage. It's how you use it, though,
exactly.
Right? So,
and not being afraid of it and being able to utilize it to your advantage. And it's it's changed the dynamic of everything. Because say Vortex, right? You guys are doing a great job. Say some Joe Blow comes by and does so much better, say on social or something.
Yeah.
They have this free distribution to thousands and thousands of people. All of a sudden, they have the ability to suck up market.
Yeah.
It can be anyone now.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch, but man, is it a battle out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I know. And also for, us, of course, for getting dollar. Yeah, that's fun. It used to be like newspaper and news, like, or TV, those are the couple of advertising yellow pages. Right. And now it's just everything. Like, where do you put those dollars? Where do you put that time? So
wherever the attention's at.
Yeah.
Wherever the attention is.
But it's everywhere, right? I mean, to some degree. So, because you've got the guys that do the sports and you've got the people that are watching, subscription kind of stuff. And I don't know. I mean, it has become an interesting game. So.
It's going to just get even wilder. Yeah. It's going to get even wilder. I've actually talked to a few people about doing things inside of like virtual reality, like keynote speaking, so everyone can show up at like the Coliseum. You know what I mean? Like having events on like that now and having all these people to connect and then having anything show up. Yeah. It's all digital. So it's like you get to have literally the imagination can run wild and rampant. And I hope, this is a hope, that it continues to stay a positive force. Yeah. And I think
there's always the positive and the negative, right?
Right, with everything.
Because we can see how kids that are just always on their phone, how that's definitely affected them negatively, being able to interact with people, having the same social skills. Yes. But it also, if you use it in a positive way, like Sydney, where she's, trying to learn different things, and she's even realized, like, I can't just sit there and watch. I'm not saying negative to TikTok, but, when it's just 20, 30-second videos, it's just swipe, right? You kind of get in that mentality that you can't focus on something, right? So she's like, I'm going to watch, 20 or 30-minute or like 5-hour videos on how to do stuff. So just how do you use any of that in a positive or negative way and how it affects you personally and society as a whole?
And it being so new is, I think, the issue, because we don't necessarily know how to handle this type of communication. Yeah. For the longest time, I mean, phone call, either hardwire, letter, things of that nature. Now I have literally a friend that I work with on a regular basis, Yusuf, in Egypt. That's awesome. I can call him whenever I want.
That's awesome, though, right? I mean?
And it's like, what the heck? And so that speed of communication, I don't think that we've caught up to learning the learning curve yet. Yeah. Because it advanced so fast with 10, 15 years, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And if you weren't there from, really into technology from the beginning and kind of learned as it went, you're even farther behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And with that.
Poor Heather's I'm like, Heather, how do you do this? How do you...
catching up. Yeah. It can be so difficult. Yeah. So I want to know, what is in the future for Vortex and for Natalie? What are we going to see soon?
So currently we're working on a flip house, which I call it flip house. We're not sure what we're going to do with it yet. And it's become its own interesting project. It was a, hey babe, Matt, hey babe, there's some land that I'm looking at, right? And then day of the auction, he's like, hey, you might want to watch this. And it was a lot lower than what we thought it was going to go for. So we signed up for it, and we ended up getting the winning bid.
Hey!
House sight unseen on 14 acres. And it's been an interesting house. Like, they've had electrical cords running in the outlets. They have this whole, plumbing manifold with all these different knobs and all this plumbing coming in, this pipe that goes all the way around the whole main floor. And essentially that was their heater. They were trying to heat this place with this watering system. And then they have a wood panel that covered all that. So they could access
it at any point. Throughout the entire house.
Yes, so there was plumbing in every bedroom. And there's a window. At some point they abandoned it. This house was built in 90, so it's not that old, but it's just
it never had the love. They just got beat up, not taken care of.
Yeah, and I think they just didn't really know what they were doing. Like, not everybody should build houses.
That's fair.
Please don't build houses if
fair.
you don't know. Don't offer to build houses. Like, and so we've just torn it down to the studs. And unfortunately, when we tore that open, we realized that there's 2x8 joist, and they're also the rafters for the roof too. And they're undersized, and they're also, instead of being, they should be 12 on center, they're 24 on center. Like, there's so many things. So we're kind of on pause while we get an engineer in there kind of to figure out exactly
how are we going to tackle
navigate this, because I had this whole, so we bought the house at like 5:00 at night, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we just won that house, right?
It's funny how just, hey, this is happening, and then all of a sudden I have another property.
And I have another project I got to work on here. So at 3 in the morning, I'm like writing out my plan, because I had this whole envision, like, bam, let's do it, right? Well, then bringing that plan to fruition, it's like, okay, with the engineering and the roof and the way it is, because we want to do a couple of additions. Like, I show people the house, and they're like, that's the front of the house? I'm like, yeah.
Is it that bad?
Oh, it's that bad.
No, it's a Frankenstein.
We can show that too.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll give you some photos, and I'll throw it through there.
So, but I have this plan to build an addition and just give it some curb appeal. So we'll see. And you know, I feel like once that gets done, it'll be hopefully a quicker. But we're not sure. Do we want to make it a rental, a venue? Do we want to?
It's got a big.
It?
It's 14 acres. 14 That's a good
acres,
chunk of land.
Yeah, but unfortunately, these people are like, oh, let's put a house on the edge of the property. Oh, let's put a lagoon right in the front, right, of the property, so you have to smell and see it. And
it should be in the back.
Yeah, and then of this 14-acre property, and it's right in front. And then there's the gas tank, right? The propane tank, sitting like right next to the driveway. Like, everybody has to drive up and see it if you come to the house. So it's like all those have to be kind of mitigated and moved around. I feel
like there should be some like zoning things going on there with the propane tank.
No, nobody. It just was like, let's just slap it there. That makes sense, right?
Yeah. All right. So do you guys see any more houses in your future?
I would love to. I love the house side of it. Like, I feel like that's been like the driving force for the construction side. Like, Matt, he's really good at what he does. He doesn't have as much passion for it as I do, you know, but I think part of it is just he's in the daily grind of our business still. So maybe as time goes on, but we would like to have some more rentals and maybe even do some more flips. I love flips. I just love them. Oh, yeah.
What's up?
Heather's like, franchise.
So are we looking at franchise options in the future?
You know, we're working really hard on, you know, we went from 1 employee to, you know, once in a while to 5 employees within a year. So,
and they're all full-time now.
And they're all full-time. So just trying to figure out, you know, the employee handbook and the, you know, all the safety manual and all the fun, you know,
things that come with growth.
All the stuff that you're just like, do I have to work on that?
You need an HR person.
So I know. That's hopefully, yeah. So Heather and I are HR currently, but hopefully that will eventually change. But just trying to come up with those. But yeah, I mean, why not?
Why not? That's my favorite thing to say. I love saying why not. So what's that look like to franchise? I don't know what that process is. Do you just have to straight up find other people who want to buy the name and just that's it? That's the go?
You know, I feel like you have to have a really good structure that you can pass on that model to other people. So I think that really comes first, and I think that's what we're really diving into. And then honestly, we have to find people not only that want to buy into it, but have the same standards that we have and the same passion for what they do in any type of business that they have. Because if you don't, then your name could be put through the dust pretty quick. So.
You are selling your name.
Gotta love Chick-fil-A, right? Like, and they have that bottle set up, right? And so if you
no one does it better.
I know.
No one does it better,
awesome,
man.
Right?
They're fast. They're efficient. They're good. They're even closed on Sunday, and it's like.
And people are okay with it. Even though it's like, I always want Chick-fil-A on Sunday, right?
Absolutely. And so making that model, this would be the first time. Obviously, you guys were with a franchise in the past. Are you leaning on any of that experience to create this model?
As in how not to be?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we bought into it, and that's really all the help we got.
Interesting. So,
like we really hadn't done any type of social media or anything like that before. It was Matt and I were always referral based businesses, and we didn't really need, constant injection of new clients. And so, kind of starting off and just they were no help. Right. We basically just learned 100%, like, any new business essentially. But yeah, there was no like leaning in for help on that. If anything, it was more aggravating than anything because we had a website that was underdeveloped and, we didn't really have as much say in it. And then our SEO and all of that was tied into that too. So definitely things not to do and, ways to kind of help companies to grow faster. So
absolutely have an opportunity to seize here, like having it done correctly, having it done the right way with support for new
and
franchisees.
Just being set up right away from the beginning with success. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can package all of that together. That's smart. I really like that idea.
So, just we'll see what happens. But
when do you guys want to try to, when do you think that will come online? When do you want to start looking for your first franchisee?
Sure. I mean, I would say 5 years.
5 years?
I would say, I don't say tomorrow. I say 5 years. I really want to have a good model. We're getting into restoration, but restoration is a difficult market to kind of get into. And so I feel like you really have to know exactly how to market to that and have a good strategy for doing that. And I don't want to offer something that we can't give support to.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm excited to see the franchise opportunity.
Yeah, so
I'm so excited.
You gonna buy me a
we'll see. I might hire someone and put them in there.
Yeah.
But like as I grow, I don't want to be the guy doing the things. Yeah. So one of my personal goals is I want $1 million in my bank account. Not my business did $1 million in sales, not in revenue. No, I want $1 million. And in order to do that, you can't always be the guy doing the thing.
Oh, yeah. No, because you only have so much time.
Exactly.
And so much effort. Yeah.
So, I would love to have other opportunities, but my thing is I would love to set up other people with those leverage and opportunities, right? So, hey, I have this. I know someone who has this amazing skill and heart. They just don't have a few of those other skills that, I may have, you may have, your husband may have. Partner with them, get them into it, then boom, you're helping them with them, and you're getting them another entrepreneur opportunity to do their thing. And that's, I think, the route I would like to go.
Yeah. No, I love that idea. I feel like in networking, we've been able to, like Heather, I would have never met Heather if it hadn't been for networking.
Right.
And so being able to find people that have the same passion that you have, even when it comes to just filling positions in your business, because that's scary to take on me not answering the phones 100% of the time, not having control of every, Facebook post or whatever that goes out. But once you can find somebody that can fill that position and you just feel the weight removed, that's amazing. And then you feel like, hey, you know what? Now I can develop this next position. Or
the growth comes.
The growth comes when you're able to let go, which is the hardest part, is to let go, I think, at first.
See, I don't know. I don't know yet. I haven't got to hire somebody yet. I'm getting closer. But my whole thought process on the hiring portion is I'm looking for people who are better at the job than me. That's like, I don't want to be the best at doing editing or post-production. That's not my position. I need to hire someone who's 1,000,000 times better than me and telling me what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
So as I get ready to, in the coming season of bringing on people, that's my thought process. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking for someone I can train. I'm not looking for somebody who kind of fills a spot. No, I'm looking for a true professional who's better at that particular job than me. Yeah. I want them to be the one who are giving me orders. That's perfect. Tell me what I need to get
boss
you to
me
make
around.
Yes,
Come on. I don't want to be the boss.
And, letting go, I've never had to experience that yet in a business standpoint, but I could understand how there's a lot of people as entrepreneurs who are control freaks and like to have that hand grip tight on those type of positions because they want to micromanage. They don't think anyone else can do it better than them.
And that was a lot of what took us so long with our growth too, is because Matt felt like he was a one-man show.
Yes.
And I'm like, you can't be the one-man show. And then when somebody would go with him, it wasn't about teaching them how to do it. So I think that's important too. You have to, if you're going to bring somebody on that maybe doesn't have the experience yet, being a good teacher is important, because if you can't just show somebody how to do it, you're always going to be the one with the knowledge. And you don't want that in your business. Like you said, you don't want to be the smartest one. And, you can't possibly know how to do everything 100%. But if you have one person that knows how to do something amazing and you're able to let go of that, it lifts that weight and it helps you to grow faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Just learn the shop talk of whatever the position is.
Yeah, so you can understand.
Communicate.
Yes.
Exactly.
Communications.
That's so key. You don't need to actually know the skill.
Yeah.
You just need to know how to talk inside of the skill.
Absolutely.
And understand the different words people use for different situations.
Yeah.
That is the important part, I truly believe.
Yeah, yeah. So me and trying to understand coding, like... But I feel like to some degree, you have to at least understand a little bit so that you can go, hey, you know what? You're missing this, right?
So you can look at your own page and be like, I don't like this. What's going on here? So,
Well, understand, why am I not ranking well? Like, I'm paying somebody to do SEO every month and I'm still, so, I'm like, okay, like, how do I do this? How do I, YouTube University, go there and just understanding exactly how that works and just what's necessary, right? Like, or what program that's free online that I can take this to and I can put it in there and, it tells me what I need to do.
Exactly. I did that today with a free program. I needed to take a PNG file and turn it into a vector. I don't have Adobe Shop. I just free. Here you go. Transfer, download. That's it. So we are now pushing over an hour.
I figured.
As we wrap up our first episode, because there's no way I'm not going to have you come back once you guys have some other stuff down the pipeline, especially for the franchise. Yeah. I definitely am excited to see that and hear that. I've kind of created an anchor question.
Okay.
This morning, or like any day, you get up, normal day, getting ready, say goodbye to the kiddos or whatever, you're heading to work. But that particular morning, you see 18-year-old yourself. You guys are able to lock eyes. You can't give her all the secrets, but you can give her some advice. What do you tell that 18-year-old woman before she takes off?
Just stay determined.
Stay determined. I love that.
Because, I feel like if you knew how your life was going to turn out, it would be different. Because then you would assume no matter what you do, it's going to be that way. But that's not the case. Like, everything that you do through life makes you who you are now.
Yes. That is so good. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, Natalie. This has been another awesome episode of Networking with Nick. Get out, shake hands, meet people. Other than that, we'll see you next time.